diving into the process, let's start with what is an assignment in the Illinois Shines program. An assignment is simply the transfer of a direct delivery contract or one or more product orders, also called batches, from one approved vendor to another. It is important to remember that assignments can only be made to entities that are already registered as approved vendors in the program. Assignments can take place at either the full contract level or at the batch level. However, individual projects within a batch generally cannot be assigned on their own. The only exception to this is under the Illinois Commerce Commission approval of the 2024 long-term plan. That plan allows unbatching of projects in certain limited cases, particularly to protect consumers or resolve customer complaints. Finally, all assignments are governed by the specific rules written in the direct delivery contracts. That means fees may apply, and in some cases, the buyer, meaning the contracting utility, must give consent before the assignment can be finalized. Now let's take a look at the key stakeholders involved in an assignment. First, we have the assigner. This is the current approved vendor that holds the direct delivery contract or product order. Essentially, they are the ones transferring the rights. Next is the assignee. This is the approved vendor who's taking over the contract or product order. Remember, both the assigner and the assignee must be registered as approved vendors in the program for the assignment to be valid. Then we have the buyer, which is the contracting utility, Ameren, ComEd, or MidAmerican. And finally, the program administrator, who plays an oversight role, making sure the assignment follows program rules, is processed correctly, and stays in compliance. So in short, assignment always involves at least these four parties working together: the assigner, the assignee, the buyer, and the program administrator. So when it comes to communication during an assignment, the assigner has the responsibility to notify both the buyer, that's the utility, and the program administrator of their intent to assign. This notification is handled by email. Please see the key contacts you will need on the slide. For program administrator, please see the admin@illinoisshines.com email address. So basically, the assigner has to make sure the program and the right utility are looped in at the same time, and that's all done through email. Let's walk through the assignment process step by step. First, the assigner contacts both the buyer and program administrator to provide an informal notice of their intent to assign. Next, the assignee needs to be an approved vendor. If they aren't already, they will need to apply on the program website. After that, the program administrator will review and approve the application, again only if the assignee is not already an approved vendor. Once that's clear, the assigner and assignee execute the correct form of acknowledgement and assignment and assumption agreement. And just so you know, all of these forms are conveniently linked right on the program website main page. So in short, notify, apply if needed, get approval, and then execute the forms. There are two types of acknowledgement forms. The first is the acknowledgement of assignment without consent. This form is used if the assignee is already a valid approved vendor and has a fully executed direct contract, the same contract version as the assigner. The second is the acknowledgement of assignment and consent form. This form is used in all other situations. So in every case, one of these two forms must be completed to move the assignment forward. The first documents that applicants are required to send to the buyer and the program admin is completed and signed acknowledgement form. The acknowledgement form can be found on the Illinois Shines website under Program Documents. Please make sure to complete the form thoroughly. Leave the buyer section blank as the utility will sign that section. The second document that utility requires is acknowledgement and assumption document that needs to be signed by both assigner and assignee. This form can also be found on the Illinois Shines website under Program Documents. Assignment fees. Assignment come with certain fees that the assigner is responsible for paying to the buyer. For the first assignment of a contract or product order, the fee is $1,500. However, if the assigner and assignee are affiliates, the fee is waived. For any subsequent assignment, even if it's between affiliates, the fee rises to $5,000. All assignment fees are paid directly to the buyer, so it's important to make sure this step is completed before assignment is finalized. Once the assigner and assignee has completed the acknowledgement and assignment agreement forms, they provide the completed forms to the buyer via email. The program administrator and the buyer then work together to make sure the assigner has met all prerequisites for the assignment. Once everything is verified, the buyer notifies the program administrator that all requirements are met. Next, the program administrator generates the new rec contract for the assignee and generates corresponding removal schedule A's for the assigner. All of these documents are provided directly to the buyer. The buyer then reviews and signs the rec contract and Exhibit A and sends the signed items to the assignee. The acknowledgement form is also sent to the assigner. If there are any projects with irrevocable standing orders, the assigner must transfer these to the assignee GATS or AMRITS account. After that, the assignee and assigner effect the legal assignment, with the assignee countersigning the rec agreement and exhibit. They also provide copies of the fully executed documents to the buyer, along with the proof that any standing orders have been successfully transferred or maintained. Finally, the buyer notifies the program administrator that the assignment is complete, and the program administrator updates the Illinois Shines database, moving the subject product orders from the assigner's rec contract to the assignee rec contract. To wrap up, here are the key points to remember about assignments in the Illinois Shines program. First, assignments are all about transferring contracts or product batches between approved vendors. Second, communication is essential. The assigner must notify the buyer and the program administrator, and keeping everyone in the loop helps process go smoothly. Third, make sure all required documents, the acknowledgement form, and the assignment agreement are completed and submitted properly. Fourth, all fees and prerequisites must be satisfied before the assignment can be finalized. And finally, the program administrator completes the process by updating the portal, ensuring that the records reflect the new assignee. These are essential steps and responsibilities to keep in mind for assignment.